Don't give up. Like never, don't give up on dreams. Go for what you want to go for. Ignore everybody else, no matter what. Like if somebody's beating you down over something or telling you that it's never going to happen or you're never going to do this, never going to do that, don't ever stop. Never. Just keep going. Be kind to everybody. Respect everybody, and just go forward. That would be what I would say.
But like I said, that's how I was able to find you. I saw the Tom Sawyer one as well, and I was impressed. But there's a good reason why they call Neil Peart the professor too, considering all the stuff he's done in Rush's music throughout his career and everything too. But I guess speaking of which, is Neil Peart one of your influences, and do you have any others?
Oh yeah, Neil. Yeah, Neil is definitely one of my influences. I get nailed for this influence all the time, but I don't care. But my all-time favorite one is Lars Ulrich. I mean, he's like my number one all-time influence. And then you have obviously Neil comes in there. Randy Castillo is another big one. Vinnie Paul is another big influence of mine too. I mean, the list just goes on and on. But those ones right there are like my top influences.
I guess you gave us 4, so I guess let's do a top 5. So what's your 5th favorite drummer?
Mike Portnoy.
Always got to have the guy from Dream Theater.
Yeah.
Actually, no, you're not the only one either. So
that would be. I would have to say that is a toss-up. It would have to be. I will let me put 2 in there for my number 5. It would be Mike Portnoy and Tommy Aldridge, because I really dig Tommy Aldridge too. But yeah, so I'd have 2 in the 5 slot, just together.
I would say, since you did list Lars in there, I'd be like, don't worry about that too, because I've interviewed a couple guys who have been influenced by Metallica's music, and other guys are big Metallica fans as well. So it's almost like, even despite all the heat that he takes for whatever it was outside of the music genre and everything, he still inspired us drummers too. I mean, I know I'm inspired by it, and I goof around with some Metallica songs too. So Lars is always a good choice. So don't ignore what those guys say. So stick with Lars.
Oh, I do, man. Like anytime anybody asks me, I mean, he's like the first one. Like every time, so.
But it's always funny with like Mike Portnoy, because as much as I do respect him too, I always feel bad that Mike Mangini doesn't get respect after replacing him too, because it seems like Portnoy was always the guy, and then like it seemed, even though there is a certain respect for Mangini, it seems like everybody would take Portnoy over Mangini. So I always feel bad for the guy there. So
yeah, I do too, and I like Mike Mangini too. I mean, I think he is phenomenal. I think when I watched those auditions that they did, and man, I mean, he nailed it. He definitely deserved to get the gig. I mean, he's just he's an incredible drummer in my opinion too, like Mangini. I do.
From one of their albums, that one I would say was my favorite song, with Mangini on drums too.
Yes, I'd agree. Yes, absolutely.
I would say the only one I have, actually I've done 2 with Portnoy, which was The Root of All Evil and Pull Me Under. And actually I did Pull Me Under with a friend of mine too. So good choices. Well, let's see.
Absolutely.
I guess walk us through how you do your reels and drum covers too. What sort of gear do you use?
Well, when I use my reels, I have just this little speaker. It puts out a lot of wattage, but it's not the biggest in the world. So I have to adjust sometimes with my playing. And as far as recording myself, I use my phone, and I've used, I think it's Power Director. I've used it once or twice, but it's just really hard, especially when I start doing like the more rock and metal stuff. Like it's really hard to get the sound balanced. And I thought about like bringing my, we have a PA system over at our rehearsal space, and I've thought about bringing it over here and miking my drums up and doing all that stuff. But my youngest son's room is the only room in the house big enough to hold my kit, so I didn't want to take up any more of his room by bringing a big PA over here. So right now, that's just I just try to play as soft as I can, and I turn that speaker up just loud enough to where it doesn't like bust or anything. And I just record with my phone, and just very simple stuff.
I'll say we're drummers. We're not meant to play soft. So
yeah, it's very hard, man. It is very, very hard not to do. But
actually,
yeah.
I was gonna say I remember a cartoon episode I used to watch as a kid. Did you know Cat Dog by any chance? It seemed like it was like some sort of battle of the bands sort of thing. And Cat was meant to be a guitar player, and Dog was supposed to be the drummer, and Dog would like to play the drums really loud. So Cat's telling him like, just to like keep your inside voice or something like that too. And eventually when the crowd's not digging it too, it's like, okay, you can play louder. Just keep playing louder. One thing led to another, and long story short, they end up, I think, winning, even though Cat was probably getting tortured, and then all of the pain that's being inflicted on him, he's screaming into the microphone. The crowd's just loving it too. So I do remember that one. So that just reminded me of it too. Episode. So, but it seemed I remember that one. I would say in their imagination, it seemed like they were kind of dressing themselves up like a Judas Priest sort of group too. So I don't know. It definitely brings back memories too. That's what some of the cartoons does, I guess. Did you get back into any sort of the cartoons you used to watch as a kid?
Yeah, Transformers. I got back into those. He-Man. Got back into that. G.I. Joe, like the original cartoons and stuff. My kids, they watch Boomerang all the time. My youngest ones do, and they all come on there. Scooby-Doo. Like I was a huge Scooby-Doo fan, man. Like I absolutely love Scooby-Doo. I've seen like every episode from like back in the 70s. That rerun, like I watched them all, and I that's like one of my favorite cartoons of all time. So
it seems like they're doing it justice with Scooby-Doo with all like, I guess we call it reissues or reruns or whatever they're doing, but it seems like one they were doing with like Velma, which seemed to kind of had a lot of negative reviews and stuff like that. So not really doing Scooby any justice right there, but I do know, yes, the old school Scooby-Doo, those ones were always fun to watch.
Yep. Love those, man. Absolutely love them.
I actually had a video game that I played that was I have 1,000 frights, I think. And I actually played it, and I actually remember beating it, but I could never find one Scooby snack for some reason to complete the entire game. And I think I was missing like 2 monster tokens too, but I was very close. I was like 99% there, and I just could not finish it. So it sucks so much.
I remember that game.
Did you play it?
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, it was a little tricky at times, but once you got the hang of it, then it was at least a little bit easier too. So,
oh yeah.
Let's see. To talk about a good bit here. I guess let's get to a serious question here with COVID too. I guess how bad did it impact you and your family?
As far as us catching it, I mean, I caught it, and my kids didn't know. They didn't catch it, thankfully. I think it was one of my bandmates. He had called it, and so it affected as far as, because when the whole quarantine thing happened, like then we couldn't get together and play. So I had to go over and I grabbed the little small setup and brought it here to my house so I could just continue to play, because I didn't know when I was going to get to it again. And so it was definitely a struggle, man. It was weird going through all that, and not being able. All we could do was like just talk on the phone or Skype or something, and that was it. And then just like throw ideas out and stuff, but we could not physically get together and play. So it was definitely rough, very rough, weird time, just a weird time.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there, but. Is there a lot of pubs close by to you too that you guys played in, or did you guys go around the States whenever you were full and in action with your group?
We used to around where we live. It's not very big into like rock and metal stuff. So we would have to go like around to other parts of the state to play. But it's really hard in West Virginia if you're a rock band. It's very difficult because you have. I always like to say like we had like like with Metallica they were too punk for the metal clubs and too metal for the punk clubs. Well, we get too rock for the regular clubs, and we're not metal enough for like the metal clubs. So it's really hard to find that balance here, in West Virginia. But the places that we have played at, I mean, man, we killed it every time. I mean, few and far in between here, but I mean, we killed it every time.
I can imagine too. I guess did they close down a lot of the bars during the lockdowns?
Yeah.
Oof.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. They closed down a lot of them, and a lot of them didn't reopen neither. They just stayed closed.
Hmm.
And so now you have like around here, you have maybe one place that has live music in it, and we could never go in there because it's one of those scenarios where we're too heavy for the place. So
Bring the house down and everything too. So
yeah,
I guess did some of the
which we don't care
places?
to do.
I was gonna say, did some of the places like stay open and just doing like takeout and store services like that?
Some did for just a little bit, and then I guess just the way that COVID hit and how everything like the world stopped, and so they had to shut down. And like I said, man, a lot of them never opened back up.
Hmm.
There's other things now in the spots where they used to be, and so it's pretty difficult.
Yeah, I can imagine too. I know it was kind of strange here. I don't know too many of the restaurants in my neck of the woods that had closed and then didn't reopen afterwards. I know in the restaurant I work at for my second job, we started bringing in cover groups, and they're doing their usuals like the Wagon Wheels from Darius Rucker or Tom
Yeah.
Petty songs, all this and that. Obviously, they wouldn't. Sadly, they wouldn't take a band like yours because it would be too heavy. Because I think most
Oh,
of the people we have are older and they're more
yeah.
the old school sort of groups too. I don't know if some of them would be into like the Metallica music or anything like that. But I do
Yeah.
know they did lessen restrictions, I guess. Did West Virginia loosen a lot of their restrictions afterwards?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It took just a little bit for them to do it, but they would lift them, just one step at a time. And then now finally it's like everything's just back to normal again. Like there's really no restrictions here that I know of. Just in Beckley, there's none. I don't know about any other part of the state, but I do know here. I mean, man, everything's just back to normal again here.
And then it feels weird, doesn't it? It's almost like what just
Mhm.
happened, really. So
Oh, it feels like a dream.
a bad
Like it
dream,
doesn't
yeah.
feel real. Like what happened. Like it just doesn't feel real. You know. So it's like me and my buddies, we'll sit there and talk about it sometimes. Like, did that really just happen? Like, we really just went through a pandemic, and remembering back at that time, it was just insane how the world was really.
Yeah, I understand too. It was really weird, and I would say the funny thing with me when I actually finally got COVID, it was actually in Nashville, and actually it was me and my parents when we went down just to get to know the history a little bit, but also bar hopped on Broadway for a couple of nights. And
Yeah.
what you know, on the way home, we ended up getting COVID. Actually, it was just me and my dad, and that was the first time I actually experienced it too. So it made me feel more fatigued than anything. So I would say be careful going into the cities that are pretty crowded now with all the people and all the bars
Hmm.
with this and that too. So just a word of advice: just be careful there too, because I don't know if you're going to get it if you guys perform in any of those places. I imagine you've been in some of the cities like Charleston, and I don't know which other big cities are there in West Virginia, unfortunately. So I'd say just a word of advice: be careful there, mate. So
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
and it's good to have you along on this journey too. Good to see you and your guys are still going strong. So
Yeah, we're hoping to really. We have a record that we're working on. We've been working on it for a long time. Our rhythm guitar player and lead singer, he had been going through some issues for a little bit, and so we're just now getting back to the writing process, and then we're getting ready to start, really tracking, because now I have all the stuff now that I can really record my drums like properly, because before that it was like just really rough demos that we would do. And so now I have all the stuff that I need to really record right. And the way when COVID hit and how everything happened, and it just changed everything, well, it also kind of changed us too, in a sense. And so now the way that we're writing now, the music is so different than what it was back, even before COVID. So we're hoping to really get back in the studio and really start tracking this stuff and get that record out.
That sounds like a plan right there. Wish you all the best of luck going forward. I don't know about studios. I guess how far is the nearest studio to you?
It's probably about, I want to say 10 minutes.
Okay, that's not too bad.
10 minutes. But when I was growing up, my uncle, we had a studio like right across the yard from where I lived at. He built this full-on studio, and so I was over there all the time, So, but yeah, my band studio, it's literally like 10 minutes from me.
That sounds good. All right. Best of luck going forward to you, mate. All right.
Appreciate it.
So we did jump through all the questions here pretty good. So let's jump into some of the fun ones. This one wasn't on it, but I guess your name's Shawn Thunderfoot Wales. I guess where did Thunderfoot come from?
That actually came from one of my bandmates. We were rehearsing, and we was over at our studio, and my kit was all mic'd up, but the mic was not turned on, but they thought that it was, and I was still like coming out over top, and then my bandmate was like, "Dude," he's like, "You're Thunderfoot, man," and so it just stuck, like it just stuck, and he calls me that from then on. It's been about probably 6 years. And he's called me that ever since. And so that name just stuck.
That's good to hear. All right. It's a good choice of name, too. I mean, like I said, as drummers, we like to play it loud, too. So good on you, man.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So here's the fun questions right here. What is your favorite alcoholic drink?
Bud Light Platinum. Love Bud Light Platinums. Love them.
I was going to say, isn't there that controversy with Bud Light right now? With did they say it was like a transgender person who was like doing all the voiceovers in the commercials or something like that?
I'm not real sure. Like I don't really even think about that stuff. I just love the beer. Like I don't care what it comes in. Like I don't care. Like it.
I mean, I'm just going by what I'm hearing right here. I'm not trying to accuse anybody here, but I mean.
Yeah, no, I'm not real. I know that there was something, I think, that was going on with it, but I mean, man, it didn't affect me none. Like I
mean, I'll give it to you, mate. I love you for that too. I mean, I would be like, I love the beer. I'm not giving this up right here. So, all right, good choice.
Oh yeah,
and good way to ignore the critics out there too who are making this BS way more dramatic than it should be.
You have to, man. You have to. Like, people wants to complain about everything, and it's just like, shut up and stop. Like, it ain't affecting you. Like, so just relax. Like, it's okay. But everybody wants to just like complain all the time about something.
Yep. That's, welcome to America, people. So, all right.
Yeah, it's like, I think we got bigger issues to complain about than a beer can. So let's just quit. Just stop. Enjoy it. Just that's the way that I look at it.
Spoken like a Jew prodigy. All right. And favorite non-alcoholic drink?
Coca-Cola, man.
Okay.
I love my Coca-Cola. I have Pepsi right now, but that's the only reason I don't have a Coke right now. So But I love Coca-Cola, man. Absolutely love it.
It's always strange, especially when me and my parents are traveling. I always felt like the South and some of the restaurants that we went into seemed to have more Pepsi products than they did Coke products. So I don't know. Does the South sell more, I guess, Pepsi products? Just out of curiosity.
Some places, yeah. There's some places that do. You'll find more like Pepsi products than you will Coca-Cola products. But here, I know here in Beckley, it's pretty even. Like they'll have Coke products and Pepsi. Like you can go into a place and they would only have either Coke stuff or Pepsi stuff. Now you can go into a lot of places here and get Coke, Dr. Pepper, Pepsi, Sprite, Mountain Dew, whatever, root beer, orange. I mean, they've really kind of changed it a little bit here as far as that goes. Mr. Pibb. I mean, you can find Mr. Pibb too, like everywhere.
I never heard of Mr. Pibb. That's actually a new brand I never heard of. Is there that? I was
It's
thinking like Dr. Pepper.
It is. It's like a cherry. It says it's like a cherry flavored, but to me, it's just like it's got like a Dr. Pepper kind of taste to it, just with a little splash of like a little bit of cherry in it, but not much though. Not much at all.
Love me a Dr. Pepper every now and again. All right. So let's see. So out of all the drum covers you've done, is there one that you've loved the most?
I would actually, there's two of them actually that I think I enjoyed the most. It was one. I only did the first half of it because I couldn't fit the whole thing in. So I'm actually going to do the second half of it, which will be the sextuplet part. I'm going to be putting that up too here soon. But it was that one, and I did Trivium to the Rats. Like I loved playing that one too. That one was just fun. That one was.
Which album was that song from Trivium? Was that one of their newer songs, or is that like one
No,
of their...
it was from back in the day. I can't remember the album's name, but it was like one of their earlier stuff. I think Travis was still their drummer at the time whenever that one came out. But yeah, I can't remember. I know it's an older song. It was like really, it's like maybe, I want to say maybe either off the one of the first two records, maybe.
I'll have to check it out. I know it was not on Ascendancy. I know that much. So maybe the very first album, maybe.
Yeah, I think it was. But my favorite Trivium song actually is In Waves. That's actually one of like my favorite Trivium song. But I'm going to do that one. But I just love To the Rats. It was just such a fun song to do. So
maybe at some point, because I did do one. It was actually a gunshot to the head interpretation. I did that song. So,
oh yeah, that's a good one. Yep.
Strong message behind it too. It wasn't until later in life where I realized like what the lyrics were actually referring to. So that was actually, it was a powerful song too. And that was actually when I tested out my newest camera that I bought, which was a sort of fold-out camera. So that was the first one. Mm-hmm. So I accidentally forgot to take the date and time off. But I tell you what the song kind of dealt with lyrical wise, I would say it seemed rather fitting, to be honest. So.
Yeah, I like that one too. I do.
All right. And was there ever a song that was too tough for you to play? And did you either give up or did you come back afterwards to finish it?
Yeah, I would have to say, even still, yeah, it's probably Dyer's Eve. I'd say that one gives me a little bit of a challenge.
Oh my gosh.
Still yet, like it gives me a little bit of a challenge. That song, I've tried it, and then I've tried it, and then I'll step away from it, and then I'll come back again to it, and it's like each time I'll get it, but then I won't get this part, so then I have to go and work on this part. But yeah, Dyer's Eve is probably the most challenging one for me that I've tried to do, because I just literally about break my sticks.
We'll say that.
It's so aggravating.
I was gonna say that it's either that or you're having trouble with the double foot pedal too, since that was when I would say that was Lars's hardest song from all the Metallica years he's been a part of. It's either that or Disposable Heroes would be another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Disposable Heroes. I tried. I used to play that one all the time, like when I was younger. But I just got back. I was going to do. That's actually another reel that I was going to do was Disposable Heroes, but it was just I can't hear. Like it's really hard for me to hear and balance the sound out with that one. So I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to. And I'm going to do Dyer's Eve too eventually. I'm going to do that one too. So it might be 10 years from now, but I'm going to do Dyer's Eve.
Yeah, we will get it, and then it will be a major accomplishment too. I imagine that's what you'll hold a party for it afterwards.
Oh yeah, dude! I will throw a block party when I nail Dyer's Eve, like full on. Yeah, there'll be the beer will be flowing like a waterfall, man, and I won't move for like 2 days. I'm just going to sit, have me a straw, and just not move for like 2 days.
All right, best luck to you going forward, dude. Because that's, like I said, that's Lars' hardest song. So good luck to you, mate. All right, and the last one. What is currently your favorite song? You might have already touched on it too, but I'm not. If you want to reiterate, go ahead. Otherwise, was there a different one?
Of today, like the newer bands that's come out. I'm trying to think. Well, it's not a. I wouldn't say it's not a new song, but oh gosh, what's the name? It's Parkway. I dig Parkway Drive too. They're one of my new favorite, like the newer bands. One of my favorite ones. I think it's called the Void. I think it's that. Yeah, it's the Void. It's that by Parkway Drive, I believe. It's that one. I listen to that all the time, and a lot of I got into them with like some of their newer stuff, but I like their older stuff a little bit better. So I think that one's a little bit of an older song, but yeah, I think it would have to be that one.
It was actually the Horizons album for me that actually got me into Parkway Drive. And every now and again, I actually hear a couple ones. I know Vice Script's one they play on the radio good bits. The Void they have played a couple times, but they haven't really played it a whole lot. What was some other ones? Oh, Soul Bleach, I think was a newer one they came out with. What was the last one? I thought there was another one. It's not coming to me right now, so to be determined. We'll just leave it at that. But I know Soul Bleach was one that they started playing a good bit. So
yeah.
All right. So Shawn, we're nearing the end of my podcast right here, but we have one more question. But before we jump into that one, did you have any questions for me or any final words you want to say before we jump into it?
Yeah, man. I appreciate you inviting me on. It's been a pleasure. You know, because I look at myself, I'm a nobody. So for somebody to want me to talk and listen to my stuff and watch my videos, I just really appreciate it, man. And I thank you a lot for, letting me be on here. And it was fun. I enjoyed it.
I was going to say, if you're curious why I did ask you on, it was just, I was like, hey, I saw this guy right here. Looks like he's doing music that I know, like The Rush and Metallica. So I figured, worth a shot. See if he wants to come on. So really, it was 50-50.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it, man. Definitely.
No worries. And thanks for coming on, too. But we got one more question right here. And this one seems a little cliche, but I always like to ask it because I like to know what people's, 2 cents on it are. But the question goes like this. What sort of message of hope could you give to musicians and people out there as we try to move past COVID?
Just don't give up. Like don't give up on dreams. Go for what you want to go for. Ignore everybody else. No matter what, like if somebody's beating you down over something or telling you that it's never going to happen or you're never going to do this, never going to do that, don't ever stop. Never. Just keep going. Be kind to everybody. Respect everybody. And just go forward. That would be what I would say.
Spoken like a true prodigy. I was giving you a little pause right there because I didn't know if you had anything else to add, but okay. All right. So, Shawn, we reached the end of my podcast right here. We just talked a little bit over an hour, give or take. We take the first couple of seconds off, but I want to thank you again so much for coming on right here. I guess, did you have any final words or any shout outs you want to say before we close?
No, man. I just thank you very much, and to anybody that listens to my stuff or watches my videos. I mean, it's a very big thank you, and if you follow me, I really appreciate it too. So, but thank you though, man, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
No worries. And I guess how else can people reach you? Because outside of YouTube and Facebook, and I guess where else can they reach your band's site? Did you guys have any music on like Spotify or anything like that?
No, not yet. Our Facebook page has been kind of dormant because we haven't really been doing very much. But you can look us up on Facebook. It's facebook.com/core WV. That's our band's Facebook page, and I'll be doing that plus my Thunderfoot stuff and all that here soon. So I'm looking forward to it.
Sounds good. And best of luck to you and your band. So.
Right. I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, everyone. My guest today was Shawn Wells, hailing from West Virginia right here. Go subscribe to his channel. Go check him out on the socials. Hopefully his band gets on Spotify or those streaming services at some point, but whenever his music comes up, go check him out too. So, Shawn, thank you again so much again for coming on. Stay safe. Stay tuned, y'all.
You too. Thank you, man.